My name is Travis Bennett, and this is my beautiful wife, Brandi. Why don't you, since everybody might be new to us, tell them a little bit about us.
Man, we are awesome people.
We are. I agree.
Yes. Yeah. We pastor Arena of Life Church, and it's an amazing church here in Amarillo, Texas. We have 4 kids,
Right?
Noel, Addison, Anson, and Catch Bennett. Yes.
Yes, the youngest one.
The best kids
Atlee
ever.
Catch, but he goes by the middle name. When you have enough A's in there, it's like, we're tongue-talking twisters
Actually,
for
it's
sure.
because he's a wild man, and you have to chase him to catch him.
That is right. His name wasn't a statement of faith, but it was facts.
Yes. I like when he was little, you'd say Atlee. He said, no, my name Catch.
Chatch.
Chatch.
That's right. So we got 4 beautiful children, been raised here in Amarillo for most of our life, or I was.
Yeah, I never left the great state of Texas.
I did at one time, and but I came back as fast as possible.
Did you repent?
I repented before the Lord. I lit candles, sacrificed, things died just because I feel so bad for leaving Texas. I'll never do it again. Actually, I shouldn't say that because then the Lord would take us.
Please don't call us away from Texas.
Yeah, absolutely. Take us
unless
to the
it's
desert.
Florida.
Amen. Florida. Georgia. We just got back from Savannah, Georgia. It was a big time.
I would totally buy a house there to retire.
Oh.
But still call myself a Texan, but go up there and eat the Southern food, walk the streets, all that stuff.
100%. And, that's where Forrest Gump was.
It's not about Forrest Gump.
I know. Well, it is for me because I love the movie. Love it so much. All right. He taught me how to swing. I taught him how to dangle. But that's besides.
Dangle or tango?
Dangle.
What's dangle?
When he's in the tree with Jenny. That's besides the point. Anyways, we have an awesome marriage. Brandi is my best friend. We love each other so much.
We do.
And so we're excited about doing this podcast because we don't want to just talk about, obviously, we love the Lord. He's number one in our lives. And I believe that's why we have a good marriage, right?
Yep, 100%.
Is because I love the Lord.
1,000%, actually.
Yep. Brandi loves the Lord. And then we meet at the top where the Lord is, and he ministers to both of us. And hopefully gives us insight and wisdom into our marriage, but also on raising our kids, train up a child in the way they should go. But the design of this podcast
is friends.
For one. We're 90s kids, and you guys will pick up on that. And we love 90s music. We love 90s shows. We love the show
And I hope
Friends.
that everybody knows, like, the Friends comments whenever we say it, because it just, like, overflows out of our heart. Just like the Word of God.
Out of the overflow of the heart comes Friends sayings.
Yes, 100%.
And we've been married 18 years and probably watched the series 18 times.
Oh,
or more.
Way more than that. No. Yeah. Gosh.
Yeah. So anyways,
Millions of times.
pivot, talking about, when you pivot, you have, to everybody, that's going to look a little bit different, like it did with Chandler and Ross. But you always got to have one.
And Rachel.
But you've got to have 1 foot, pivoted. You've not 1 foot, but you've got to have a good foundation. And I think what the vision that Brandi and I have for this, I know we're young, but we've raised kids. We've also had a successful business. I've been shoeing horses for over 20 years. And we've had some successes in life. And obviously, it's the Lord.
And pivotal moments.
And we've had some pivotal moments. And so we not just, obviously, the Word is our foundation. Did you say?
Absolutely.
We've been raised in the Word.
Yeah.
You had a godly home.
Absolutely. Best parents ever. Shout out Mom and Dad. Love you.
Same here. # Mom and Dad. Love you. And we're raised in a good, godly atmosphere. And it's our desire to do the same thing in ours.
Absolutely.
And it looks a lot different than it did 40 years ago. I'm giving your age right now. But
I'm not 40.
You're almost there. All right.
Yeah, you're already 40.
Yeah, you're knocking on the door. Knock, knock, knocking on. But anyways, just talking about life. I think it'd be good for us on this on these episodes to talk about ethics. Just spiritual ethics of living a good, godly life. And
how to handle those moments when you just got to pivot. Because sometimes, like your walk with Christ, well, most of the time, it's not easy.
no,
It's you got to get up the stairway with a big old couch,
that's right.
try to make it around the
And
corner.
do it
That's tight.
and do it with other people.
Yeah, the other people.
Absolutely. That are
Had a
seeing
challenge.
it at a different time. That may be one of our topics that we talk about is dealing with difficult people, right?
We have to do that.
I heard a pastor say this one time about his church. He said the church would be a good place if it wasn't for all the Christians.
Right?
And I can't help but believe that, right?
Mhm.
Because, people are crazy, but still, some of those crazy people are your blood and share your last name. And so God has called us
Yeah.
even, to make room for them. And,
Right.
and I believe there's godly ethics that God can help us through those things. And so I think that today we talked about this of one of the things that is the most precious commodity in my life for sure
Yeah, mine too.
is not I would think sometimes talking to women guys, you know what I'm talking about there when you're talking about commodities, precious commodities. She's probably already thinking diamonds and gold. Are you?
Oh yeah, 100% Tiffany's.
Oh boy.
I don't own any Tiffany's, but I would like a Tiffany.
Guys, help me out. We'll I'm going to take up an offering at the end of this. So send your money for Brandy to get Tiffany's this year. All right. I'm kidding, by the way. Don't take us so serious. But I believe the most precious commodity in our life is time.
100%.
Would you say?
Yeah. In fact, as you say that, I was last night at Together, I talked about serving at our women's meeting, and I said there's 24 hours in a day, right? Most people don't sleep 8 hours, but if you do, that's 8 hours 8 hours out of the day. Then if you work 8 hours, that's 16 hours, right?
Yep.
So you got this time left, and people say they don't have enough time to do stuff. But honestly, like if you make it a priority, then you have the time to do it.
You got to use it wisely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we live in a society today where so many people are just sitting around.
Yeah.
And just like this podcast here, there's going to be people that sit around and do this, but there's for the majority, the successful people are going to be doing other things, listen to this at the same time.
That's what I do.
Absolutely, me too. We read
Yeah.
lots of books.
Yeah, audio.
We read a lot of audio books and read books. I like both
Ooh, we can
of them.
talk about those too.
Yeah, and
That's so much
I'm
fun.
super excited about that. But
Yeah.
and you can see we both take ADHD medication, and we're getting off on some trails right now. But that's okay. That's what a podcast is all about, right?
Right. Mhm.
Okay. Well, so
time.
cool. So time. I it's such a precious commodity. There's so many songs. I mean, you Google time, and you can. I mean, we're '90s kids. We talked about it. Time, Hootie and the Blowfish.
Sing it, baby.
Well, the one that always comes to my mind, I think about Space Jam. I think about the Steve Miller Band that made it more popular than Space Jam. But time keeps on slipping, slipping, slipping.
I only know that song because you sing it.
Into the future. I'm sure there's some people out there, some baby boomers is going to know that. Maybe after baby boomers. But anyways, they're going to know what that song is all about. But it's true. Time
It's
slips
slipping.
away.
Hmm.
We were just talking about the other day. It's like, where the heck did summer go? Around here, we live in Amarillo, Texas, and it's already getting to be fall, which is kind of crazy, right?
Yeah, it
And
is. But the fairs come
the-
in. That means it's cold.
That's right. That's just kind of the nostalgia of this area. When the fair comes, it gets cold. And we're already missing June. Come on, June. I want June back. But my point is it goes by so fast, right?
Yeah.
And when you were a kid, you remember back when you were a kid, do you think about any of this?
Yeah.
Like, to me, it went
100%.
slow. Because I don't know if you were raised in that home, you put on the calendar, hey, this is when we're going to take the big trip, or we're going to
Right.
go do this. Or maybe it was Christmas Day and you put the links together. Did you ever do that?
The links together.
Yeah, where you had like the paper and you put it together, and every day you ripped the piece of the paper away and you'd have these links. You didn't do that?
No, I did like an advent calendar like normal people.
Oh, okay. Well, bad. We losers had
Yes.
links that we put together, and then you'd cut it away. But it seemed like to me when you were excited about something, it seemed like it took
Forever.
forever. We're like, now when we're going to go on vacation, we pastor a church, people that we're involved in, all kinds of different stuff. I shoe about 25, 30 horses a week
Yeah.
down at the barn, just in my hands and lots of stuff. And it's like, I do not have enough time
Right.
to get this done before we go on vacation. And then when we're on vacation, it's like,
Bam, it goes.
yeah, press the fast forward 3-4 times. So it's 4 times as
Yeah.
fast. And it goes so quick. The other thing that I think about time is this. Isn't it amazing? I mean, I meet with people all the time that there's a mountain in their life. And I'll preach to you for a minute, and I'll tell you, if you're in a mountain in your life right now, it may be bigger than you, but it's not bigger than God.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
And so, and all throughout Scripture, I think we can see this, but it's amazing. Have you ever been in a moment in your life where on Tuesday it was so big, like,
Oh, yeah.
how in the world am I going to get
How
through
am I going to
this?
make it to Wednesday? Like, Wednesday can't get here fast enough. And
then you get to Friday, and it's like, I can't believe Tuesday even happened.
yeah. And I made such a big deal out of Tuesday and made it the worst day ever. And it was so long, and it wasn't really that big of a deal.
Because now you're in a place of healing of something that was so big to you. But what did it take? It took time.
Yeah, it took time.
Time is a big thing.
Mm-hmm. Time is really a big deal.
It's so important. So one of the things that people ask me all the time, like I said, I mean, we have a family, a big family. We have Noelle that's somewhere in the world all the time with Marine Corps. We have Addison, who is a teenage girl in high school, and then we have 2 boys that are heavily involved in sports.
10 hours a week, I calculated it, that they are in practice.
Yeah. And I'm sure there's some parents out there that can say 20.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
With, personal coaches and different things like that.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, I mean, what are all the things we do in the church house?
What do you mean? We're involved in everything. I mean, we love building the kingdom. And so we get these ideas and we want to see them happen. And I was thinking the other day how much time we spend up here compared to when we were younger. Man, because it's like, I feel like we turn around and we're always doing another event because we're trying to cause community here at the church. And it's like we're always doing something, which is good.
We're church rats.
We are church rats.
And we're raising our kids to be church rats.
That's right.
We love it. Because the church has changed our life.
100%.
And so, I mean, there's so many things. Just like last night, you had a women's meeting. There's a group of men that I meet with
them.
The second and fourth Mondays of the month. We have a young marrieds at our house. That is at our house. That's once a month. Just pouring as leaders.
Yeah.
Pouring into our staff and all the
serving on teams.
Serving
the city of Amarillo.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All that we can do.
Big deal that we want casting vision, which is making a difference. And one of the things I always say around here is you can't make a difference unless you are different. And so we try to, be that people that leads by example. And so, anyways, we're here all the time and we love it. We wouldn't trade it for nothing, right?
100%. I love being in the church.
Wouldn't trade it for nothing. But on top of that, I shoe a bunch of horses. And there'll probably be a time that I'm released from that. But as for this time right now, I love it. I still enjoy it. Keeps me in shape. If I didn't, I would be as big as a house. Better not amen right now. Because I love to eat all the good stuff and lots of it. But if you know anything about shoeing horses, or what a farrier is what it is. And but also, too, it just keeps me out there. I enjoy it.
It gives you purpose.
It gives me purpose.
Man, and just think about all the people that you witness to on that side of the fence. I mean, people aren't coming to the church. Yes, they do. But I bet you do more ministry.
And there's so many people that have been impacted now in the church because it was first a moment that started in the barn.
Yeah, with shoeing.
Right.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Go into all the world.
That's right.
Go into all the world.
That's the Great Commission. That's what we live by. So I think people ask me all the time, now, how in the world do you have all this time? And I believe we're good parents. I really do. I believe we're God ordained. Our kids love us. They show up. Noelle even comes home on leave and wants to spend time with us, and so you know, and that's the thing. They're like, I know you do all that, but how do you still have a successful family?
You don't sit on the couch.
Well, amen to
I
that.
mean, but really, how often do you get to sit on the couch and watch TV?
Never.
Actually, we do have our time at night, which
We do.
I think is very special. I love
And
that
that's
you.
important to us.
Yeah, we like to watch our shows together. Our shows, which is one show at night once our kids are in bed, and we get in bed and we watch a TV show. But we don't sit around idle, you know?
No, we don't. No, we definitely, and that's the thing, that following successful people, I believe this, and you'll probably hear me say this more than once, because this is a motto of my life. And I don't know if it's Craig Rochelle who says it or one of the guys that he follows, obviously those books, but it's successful people do things diligently, where average people do it
That's
from time
Craig
to time.
Rochelle. Yeah.
Okay, that is Craig Rochelle.
I remember him saying that.
Shout out to Craig. But here's the thing: is every day, and people are like, "How do you read books? How do you read the Word of God? How do you pray?"
Priority.
And you'll know this. I mean, this morning I was up at 5:30. I'm an early bird. That may not be you.
It's not me.
We'll talk about that. But it's this: is you've a very wise person. I'll probably have him on here. Very wise person, and this is my answer to people. So I'm getting back to that. This is my answer to people when they ask, how do you have time to do that? I think it's important that we've got to learn how to distinguish what is urgent and what is important.
100%.
Right?
Yeah, we've got to.
And so here's the deal. The first thing that you got to realize, what are the important things in life? And I can't put those for you. I can't make those for you.
I made your list, though, for you.
Yeah, she did. She's a very controlling wife. No, she didn't. But I'll tell you, the most important thing for me is to hear the voice of the Lord. So I'm going to set myself up for that. And so that's my time in the morning.
Right.
Because, you'll find out on this, I probably should be taking Ritalin medication, ADHD. I'm literally like the movie Squirrel, right? What is that? What movie? It's Up, right?
Yeah.
Squirrel.
Yeah. Up.
And so it's important to me to hear from God. So I set myself up for that, to hear from the Lord. So like this morning, I get up at 5:30. I go down in my study. I read the Word of God, and I don't have any distractions of kids or anything like that. My kids are important to me. They're going to be on the list. But number one is the Lord. Number two is you.
Yes.
Am I on the list anywhere?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, you are.
All right. Well, good. Well, number two is Brandi. Number three are my children. And then number four is definitely the church. The church. And then number five is my business. So I've made now a list of the things important. Now it gets in more detail than that. Because, let me just ask you, not knowing this, what are the important things in your life?
The same as yours. What do you mean? Obviously, God is first, just like you. But that's how.
Is that what it is? Is to hear the voice of God, or is it like to spend time
with Him? Yeah. And it's, if I don't have that time with Him, then my whole day's messed up, and it just, when things go to crap, you realize, I forgot something.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So let me just ask you this question. This is truly off the cuff. This is like podcast material right here. When just like this, distinguish between the important and the urgent. What's the difference to you?
Wow. Yeah. I don't know. Gosh, there's so many things that are urgent. This is like crazy. But when you think of urgent, you think about going to the bathroom. I'm sorry.
I
gotta go.
Especially our two boys. It's like we have two boys like y'all. We live right in the middle of town. They're just whipping it out there, going to like, I gotta go.
You're like, did you just now realize this?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's been brewing for a while. Right. And it's like, it's got to happen
right now. Yeah. So that's definitely, I think about urgent, but it's, important things are obviously like the things that we want to do in life, which like to me is like spending time with him, my family, working out, living, having a clean house. It's important to me.
If you weren't going to put that on the
Yeah.
list, I was going to call you out. Important or
is that important or is it urgent? Sometimes like I need to know the balance of that, because I can be a crazy person being like urgent, like you better put all the dishes in the dishwasher.
Yes, you can.
And is that really important? Probably not. I was making that urgent, right? Do you see what I'm saying?
I don't know. Because let's talk about this. And like I said, I didn't come up with this, but I want to tell you the difference. President Dwight Eisenhower, he actually said this: I've learned that the urgent things in life are seldom important, and the important things in life are seldom urgent. So we're going to go through a list of a few things of the difference between things that are
Is this
important
a test?
and urgent. Well, it could be. All right,
Cody's
so pay
probably
attention.
taking a grade.
You get out your notes and you get out paper and write notes. All right, you're going to want to pay attention. So I have found, and also too, this was pointed out to me, but I believe this is so true. The important things in life, important is initiated by you. The urgent things are initiated by other people.
Right.
Right? So, like for instance, people say, how do you make time for that? One of the things that I truly try to do is at a certain time at night, I'm not answering my phone. My phone rings.
All the time.
You're
on the phone with so many different people.
With so many different,
and sometimes that's how I learn facts about you, is I just listen to your conversation. If I want to know what's going on in your life, I just lurk.
Yeah, I mean, because I love everything. I'm a man's man. Hunt, fish, horses, roping,
all the stuff.
all these things. So I have all these different, people in my life and all this,
and all these stories to tell.
Oh, I love it.
You love those stories.
Absolutely, I love this story.
Is that important though, or urgent?
See, that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Okay, now it's getting hot and heavy in here. You point them eyes at me. Listen, so the urgent things and the important things. So the important thing, as I said, first the Lord, you, my kids. So there has to come a time in the evening. So if the important thing is initiated by me, and the urgent thing is about other people, I've got to set a time. And I'm talking to dads out there the same way. If you're going to, I remember my dad telling me this when I went into ministry, and my dad's in ministry, and this is great wisdom. He said, if you fail as a dad, you fail. It don't matter how many books you sell or how many podcasts people watch, how much wisdom you spit out there to other people. And I agree. If you fail as dad, you fail. And so I have made that as important in my life. Number one to me is the Lord. And then number two is my family. And I believe it's a biblical principle too. And we could get in the book of Ephesians and show you that. But so at night, I've got to set a time. Okay, after this time, I'm not answering my phone because it might be urgent to somebody else. And I know a lot of our church people are going to watch this and listen to this, and they think you don't care about it. No, I promise you I do. But because I love you, I love my kids.
Yeah.
Right? And I love my wife. And so that might be urgent to them. See, that's something that they are initiating to me.
I need
Pastor or farrier or horseshoer or friend. I need you. No, I've made it important in my life that my kids need me.
And they need to see that.
Right? Yes.
Especially
your
our
kids are looking for that.
So many people are pulling on you, that they see it and they can. I was raised a PK. You were raised a PK, and so it's crazy that we both have that perspective of knowing that you go a place and your dad runs into somebody and you may be having a meal. It's like that. Our time is never uninterrupted, right? Because we go so many places, we see people. It's ministry all the time, and so we have to have that time in our home
Right.
that our kids
Right.
are number one and they know it. And they are number one all the time.
That's
You know,
right.
we love them
That's right.
and they know the balance.
But I totally
Yeah.
get what you're saying is like they see me, they see you. We're
Mhm.
teaching people, right? They see me
Yeah.
behind the pulpit. They see one-on-one me
Yeah.
praying for people. And so my kids can't expect me to pray for somebody in the lobby with something in their life and not see me pray
Yes.
for them, impart into their life, have teaching moments with them. That's
Right.
what you're saying, right? Absolutely. So we've got to make those things important. But here's the deal: we've got to make time to do that. And so if you set a time at the end of the evening saying, you know what, it's important to
It's
me.
my
I've
family
set
time.
this.
Yes.
It's my family time. No urgent things are coming in. Now, obviously, there's going to be times, there's going to be those moments. But just because it's big to them doesn't mean necessarily has to be
Right.
big to you.
Right.
And so that's the first thing we're going to do. We're going to distinguish the urgent from the important, and the important is initiated by me, what you've said, and the urgent is initiated by other people. All right, so the next thing we're going to talk about, or the next part of this being important and urgent, is the important is continued perseverance, while the urgent demands an immediate response. So the things that are important to you, I'm this is going to be day in and day out.
Right.
This is what I'm going to do. Like this is
Going to the gym.
that may be for you. I told a friend the other day, I think the heaviest object at a gym is the front door.
I knew you were going to say something stupid. I just felt it right
listen.
then and there.
I maybe if we change gyms, because Planet Fitness what's the one, the purple one?
Yeah, Planet Fitness.
Planet Fitness. They have a pizza night.
You can't buy your own pizza?
No, I can, but I'd like to go to a gym and eat with all my gym rats pizza. I'm just saying. I'm throwing that out
I'm just
there.
saying you have a gym membership and you should utilize it.
Gym who?
Gym. Hotworks.
Gym.
You have a
Okay.
Hotworks
I know some
membership?
great gyms in my life, and I could spend more time with them if you'd like. But anyway, here's the thing. The important things are continued perseverance.
Right.
It's every day.
Yeah.
The urgent demands an immediate response right now. And I'm saying we're trying to help people with their time and trying to distinguish the difference between urgent and what's important.
Give us an example of urgent. I mean, come on. There's so many things that go on where people pull on you and they need you right then and there. And it's like if it was important to them, they would have called you ahead of time and said, hey, next Tuesday, I really need to meet with you because of some things that have been going on. But too often it's like, I need you right now at 6 o'clock. And you say, that's my family time.
That's my important time.
Right.
Well, I think a good example of that is like going back to my life. I have a horseshoeing family, and I call them a family because there's lots of them, that I've shot horses for years, that even saw their kids grow up, go through college, and all that different stuff that I'm close to. But then I have a church family, and so I've got there's where I've got to be important. Like here's an example that just came to my mind is like funerals. If I did every single funeral that everybody asked me to do, I would, because sometimes when you're the only preacher that they know, when people die and people need to get married, you're the only one that they call. I'll shoe the horses, take out the trash,
do the wedding,
couple, do the wedding, all right, or bury somebody. And so I would rather definitely do a funeral than I would a wedding. Just because I know that sounds crazy out there, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, she's sick."
Weddings are so beautiful.
That's
the girl in me. That's the man in you.
I don't know. I just like celebrating people's lives.
Yeah.
Where sometimes you have two kids up there that don't, they couldn't squeeze 2 quarters together to make 50 cents.
Kind of
you know
like
what I'm
when
saying?
we met.
Yeah, kind of like that. But it's totally different today, where they're making, rational decisions. Where I love celebrating. I did one I did a funeral a month ago, and I loved it. I mean, it was emotional for me because I love the guy, but
Right.
I just love celebrating his
Life, yeah.
life. And so, but my whole point is, what's important. It was important to me to do Dr. Charlie's
Right.
because he was important to me. He was a
Man, he poured
part of
so much
my,
into your life.
and he did absolutely. And so that was,
That was an
but there's,
absolute yes.
but that was an absolute. That was important.
Yes.
But there was one that called just last week of people that don't go to this, aren't a part of our body, that are not a part of even people that I shoot for, but people that I shoot for said, "Hey, he'd make a great preacher. We need you to do it, and we need you to do it this Thursday,
And we need you to.
and we need you to. We gotta have
Yeah.
you." And they pull on me. There's times where you just have to say
And
no
I'm so
because
proud of
that.
you
Thank you.
because I taught you that word.
Because that is dipping into the important things of life, right? Because you just have to ask yourself, and people may think that I'm crazy about this, but and there may have been an open door for that. But these people were from New Mexico, and I'm not saying that nothing could happen, but they're not going to do anything in my life to help me fulfill the important goals that I have set for me, right?
Right.
And so I've got to make the time to pour into those important people.
Right.
And so there's so many people out there, you haven't distinguished this, and you're running around all over the place like a chicken with your head cut off because you haven't set some goals. You haven't set some standards of like, it might have been cool to do that, but really, do I need to do that?
Yeah. You know what I always think about when you're talking about this, like just like popped in, is Lazarus. Like when he died, when he was sick, Martha and Mary wanted him to come.
Yeah. Where were you?
Yeah, where were you? Like, was this
We
not?
told you.
But like, was this not important? Like, our brother died now. Don't you wonder, like, Jesus? I know that he did that for a miracle, but I mean,
Yeah, I always picture Martha like standing in the road with her hand on
like,
her hip.
how dare you?
Yeah. Was your cell phone not turned on? Right? We were sending smoke
Did
signals
God
for
not
3
tell you?
days. We know that you did not check your social media status, Jesus, because I said on there
Right.
that he died or he was dying.
Yeah, and you didn't come.
And you didn't come.
And then, like, she made the list of, like, Peter came, John came.
Oh,
We
yeah.
get that all the time. Like, all these people came, but where were you?
They were there.
Where were you?
Absolutely. See, these are the things. And people are going to point fingers at you when you make this decision.
Yes, they
But
will.
your life
And
will
it
be
doesn't
better.
matter if they do, because 5 minutes later, they're going to be mad at somebody else anyways.
110%. Because hurt people
They
hurt
do.
people.
And then they get hurt at other people later on, and then they forget about you.
See, these are great things that we can talk about down the road for sure. Like, I'm thinking about Lazarus. I'm thinking about, the difference between what you expected and what you are experiencing.
That one preaches
We're really
to me.
getting into marriage
Oh,
there.
Big time.
Hey.
It's
low
not like
blow.
the movies. It's actually.
Oh, whatever. It's like hope floats. We're not talking about that. All right. The important things. So, the important is continued perseverance, while the urgent demands immediate response. Here's the next one. The important is normally calculated, right? While the urgent is normally an interruption.
What?
What do you think
Man,
about
that's
that?
mind blowing.
The important is normally calculated. Like, it makes perfect sense because the things that are important to you, you sketched out in your calendar. And here's the deal. I am not saying there won't be some urgent things come up that you don't need to take care of. But I'm trying to help you out in your time. If you think that everything, because I'm young, I mean, would you agree we live in a dramatic world?
Yes.
I mean, if any of y'all have Facebook, Instagram,
And such a life
any
of
of it.
comparison, because you see other people doing stuff and you're like, look, how do they have all the time to do this and that and then make that perfect picture of their food? Like, I can barely cook.
Right.
I don't have time to take a picture of our meal.
Absolutely. I don't get those people anyway.
I just don't have time for it. Plus, I'm not that
Right.
great of a cook.
You're not? That's a lie. Have you seen me? There's a reason. But the important thing is normally calculated. The important things
Yeah.
that if it's going to be important to us, we're making time for that. And so, and I'm just telling you, if you're going to be a successful person,
I love
the
to use
Lord
my
needs.
calendar and put all of the things that I need to do because they
Yes,
are
you do.
important.
Uh-huh.
And so I know exactly where I'm going to be. I can tell you what I'm going to do next week because I've already planned it out.
Right.
I don't live in the moment. And so when you
say
don't live in the
this-
moment, then those little urgent things, when they come up, you can't deal with them because you already have plans. Your your schedule is
right.
already full.
already. Well, that's where I don't. I mean, there's some people gonna cast stones. I don't get people to be like, "Well, we just couldn't make it to church." Well, then it's not.
I already know
important
what I'm doing next Sunday in 2025.
Let's go! Word.
100%. Don't you know?
That's so good. Amen.
Yeah, so it's just like-
why? Because we have set a precedence that is
That's what we do.
important to us.
That's what we do on Sunday morning.
This is who we are.
You can
do
choose
you, boo.
2 services, 9 or 10:45. I mean,
Yeah.
but for
Yeah.
us, I mean, obviously we go to both. But even if we didn't, we would literally have, because I know how we are, a set time. We would say we're going to the 9 a.m. because that's what we do on Sunday mornings.
That's what we do. Listen, I'm telling you, we're trying to help you guys out. Everybody out there
Put it in the
world.
calendar. Just go ahead and put it in the calendar on repeat, 9 a.m. or 10:45 and Sunday church at that time. And it's not online. Yes, we go live, but man, if you have kids, they're not going to get anything out of a live service. They're not
Never.
They're not even going to sit there and listen to the preacher preach, even if he's awesome and he's hot.
Let me tell you, even if I took, I know I keep going back to this, but even if I took Ritalin, I wouldn't sit through a whole service and watch it on my couch.
No, you wouldn't, because I know this is what people do, because I've watched them do live stuff or look at a computer or whatever on TV, is they get their iPad out and they're watching church online, but then they grab their phone and they're
100%.
scrolling.
Oh, she's spitting facts.
Scrolling through Facebook, looking at other things, or online shopping. You're like, hey, I had the best Sunday morning. I online shopped for all my groceries and I watched church.
Yep, got it all done. Checked it off the list.
Okay, what did he preach
Absolutely.
about?
Well, let's just talk
They
about
don't even
the
know.
worship. The worship set. It sucks. Like it totally blows, right? When you're sitting, especially coming from a musician standpoint, I'm like, well, whoever mixed this really needs to be
But
fired.
also, do you picture anybody out there online and they're watching the service and they're like engaged? Do you think anybody's on the couch doing that? I mean, just maybe they are, maybe you are, but I'm just saying,
Liars.
I'm just saying, like, I do have God moments when it's just me and God worshiping in the car, and it's sweet.
And they have no children, though.
Yeah, there's no kids in the car.
Absolutely
no, it's never
not.
one of those things. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean okay. So like during COVID, when we met in the parking lot, a handful
I have
of times,
no
3 or
idea
4
what you
times.
preached about. I'm just gonna say I love you, but Ketch was in the car and he was like opening the sunroof, closing it, opening it, closing it, opening it, and I was like, sit down.
I'm out there preaching my guts out. It's the winter. It's cold. It's freezing. My fingertips
And
are purple.
Anson is puking out the window.
Puked out the window. The Spirit of God hit him so strong in that Yukon that he's puking out the side, and I'm trying to stay focused. People
and
are
I'm
in
waving
our parking
behind
lot.
the people behind us like, I'm so sorry. And it's like projectile coming out.
Maybe we passed out communion, and he got sick off a stale cracker and some old grape juice.
No,
I
I
don't
don't
know what it was,
know.
but it
Yeah.
was fermented for sure. But here, I mean, she has such a valid point, and there's people that might put in the comments, I disagree with that, blah, blah, blah. You are a liar. I'm going to call you out
We
right
want to
now.
see the notes
and tell
that
you
you write down
because-
in church when you watch it online.
Absolutely. An assignment.
Turn in your notes.
But the thing of it is, this is what we're getting at, is it's normally calculated. So we know it is calculated. It is important for us to be in the house
Right.
of God on Wednesday nights, Sunday mornings. That is important to the Bennett household.
We don't plan
All right.
stuff on those nights.
We don't plan anything else. This is what we
No golfing.
do. Who we?
No golfing.
Amen.
Because you can golf after
There
church.
might be golfing right up
Yeah.
to. There's been many times that I have finished out with a good buddy at mostly your dad, the founding pastor of our church. But on hole 18 at 6:15,
But what did you do
take a
to
quick
make
shower in the
sure
pulpit by
that
6:30.
you were going to make it to church? Did you make your tea time at 5 o'clock thinking, oh,
That's
you know
right.
what? If we play fast, then I can maybe make it to church. You don't say maybe.
That's right. And I do that not because I'm a preacher.
'Cause you love the
I do
house of
that
God.
because I'm a believer and I
Yeah.
love the house of the Lord. There's joy in the house of the Lord. Amen. All right, here's the fourth one. The important is driven by priorities. The urgent is driven by circumstances. So, important things have to be your priority. The urgent is driven by circumstances. Not to say that you can't take time for the urgent things, but you've got to set a decision in your heart today, right now. These are the things that are important to me, so they will be my priority. Now, do circumstances come?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes,
because somebody gets sick.
I've missed church because kids were getting sick, right? I mean, what do you do?
Right, or miss work, or it throws you off your schedule. There's some of y'all out there, like, you're so, what kind of people are they? You're one of them. You love a plan. Love a plan. Even when we go on vacation, like, we're going to sleep into what time, and what time are we going on this, and what time are we eating breakfast, and all that different stuff, where I'm like, hey, let's have a big time. We're here to vacation. And so I'm just saying there is going to be some circumstances.
And it's not called a bad hair day. Like, I couldn't get up. We didn't make breakfast on time. There's a lot of excuses. And so, I mean, some of them are valid, but I mean, being somebody that leads a team and people have reasons for not coming, sometimes you're like, man, that is absolutely valid. Like, I get that you're not here.
And that's why they're a leader. That's why we put leaders in leadership
Totally
positions,
understand that.
because they have distinguished what is urgent and what's important.
And sometimes you're like, okay, ...
Yeah, you suck. Right? Absolutely. You let me out there
high and dry.
High and dry. And so that's why there's people that are promoted and the others that aren't, because they have learned the value between what is important, what's urgent. Let's go to the next one. The important things are always a hallmark of peace. The urgent things are always a hallmark of tension.
What?
I didn't make these up. You can't say what, like, honey, you're awesome, because I didn't make these up. But I'm using them to our fullest advantage. So the important things is always a hallmark of peace. Would you agree?
Yeah. I'm just thinking about the times that I get intense.
Yeah. That happens a lot.
When the house isn't perfectly clean and everything isn't in order before we go on vacation and it starts snowing.
Or how about when we come home from vacation and you would like to, like, vacuum out the car at 11 o'clock at night?
That's very important.
That's
very important.
That's urgent. Capital U.
That's urgent. This is what I've learned today, is that is urgent to you, but it's important to me.
And that's what you've got to figure out. That's why we're here. Exactly.
There
we're
can
preaching
be
to the
no
choir.
crumbs in my car. I know your car is a disaster.
Thou saith the Lord.
And I know that you have all kinds of trash and little the bottle caps that you chew and eat. Absolutely. They're like all over your car. There's not any of that in my car. It's not allowed.
There's not. Those things are important to me. I've made those important. But it's a hallmark.
It's important
of
to me
peace,
that you not do
not?
that anymore.
Okay.
But that's the thing, is that you can't decide.
I'm thinking of entering a
You can't
12-step
decide
program.
what is important to other people.
That's right.
I would love to make
You've
your
got
list
to set
for
it in
you
your heart. Oh,
and control
here we go.
you.
This is not about marriage.
Every woman that is watching this is like, okay, I'm going to make his list for him and help him stay on task, because I need to be number one.
Hey, and I think there's something to that, because, like, it is important to me to have the most important things, but sometimes I find myself in a jam and I overcommit to things when rather hey, this is a vulnerable moment of weakness for me, but his strength is made perfect in my weakness. Just point that out, 2 Corinthians 12. But that I've had to learn, if I'm going to stay on the task of being important, when the urgent, or how should I put this? I've got to delegate, like to Jennifer here, to other people, to Heidi, to
You're
you.
not allowed to delegate
Of
to me. I'm
Well,
just kidding.
no,
Yes,
but
you
you.
are. I love you.
My point is I want peace in my life, but I tend to give me tension
You want
because
to please other people.
that's a big deal. Yeah, and those other people are urgent; they're not important. Yep, that's a whole different bag of tricks that
I
we could
love you.
open up right now.
I
But
said I love you twice and you didn't say it back.
for,
Okay, thank you.
I love you too, honey. Me llamo tú. I said it in Spanish. That like sounds even more
It
sexier
does.
when you say it in Spanish, right? Me llamo. Our English language is
Yeah.
garbage compared to me llamo tú.
I love you.
Hey, all right. That was hallmark.
That
of
really
peace right
was.
there because
It
it's
really
important.
was.
It was. But you guys, you get what I'm saying. It's like life gets tense when you start doing taking on these other things that are urgent to other people. And not to say that they shouldn't be to you. Like if you run a business and there's some things that you really should, but you need to make sure that those things are taken care of, and you will
Right.
have peace when you still keep the important things
Well, and
out
now
in
say
front.
that to a young business person, because I'm looking back at our marriage in the beginning and how many horses you shod in a week versus how many you do now. And of course, you weren't running a church, you were running a youth group
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
and led worship and did all this other stuff. And man, you were gone a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But you had to build your business to be who you are today, right?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
you can't tell somebody, oh, well, like, don't turn down clients. I mean, you tell men,
Yeah, you've got to be smart.
because I'm not a man. You tell men, like, should they turn down clients or build their business?
Yeah,
And how do you decipher that
like
so that you're going to cause peace in your home, but you're going to set yourself up for success in life?
so the bar has been changed. The things that were important to me then are
Right.
not important to me now.
And that's what I want people to see that are young is like,
Absolutely. I see.
because there's people out there that don't have kids and don't have a wife, and they get called into work to work an extra day, and they say no because they just like to have a day off,
or they like
to play video games.
I'm sorry, but I'm struggling out there with men that like to play video games. It's like grow up and be a man.
You don't have time.
Right?
I like honestly thought like if you played video games, when would you do that? Because you'd be taking away the me time that we have together. You'd be taking away the time that you play with the boys. Yes, exactly.
Things. Yes, the important things. So what she is saying, like in the beginning,
Right.
that was important to me. Like I had a client that owned a horse, that horse people out there, they would know who it was, like big time. And when he called, I remember one particular time he called at 11 o'clock at night, and I answered the phone because I saw that it was him, because it was important to me at that time.
You're trying to build your name, Travis Bennett, the horseshoer.
Yes.
And you wouldn't have been that person.
So this is $1 million cutting horse, right? And this person calls and he says, hey, lost the shoe and I got a new one in and I need
at 11 o'clock at night.
I was 11 o'clock at night, Saturday. I'm leading worship the next morning. I get there at
What
6.
do you do?
I got up at 2:30 in the morning, went to that barn, shod that horse in lights, and fixed the other one. And I think I trimmed a broodmare or something like that, and went back home for a little bit. Of course, I was wide awake at this time. I remember spending time in prayer, and then came in and led worship. But it was, would I do that today? Heck no. Absolutely not. Go fly a kite is what I would say. But I am now at a place, because I made those things important at that particular time, that now I can eat the fatted calf. I mean, whatever a man sows, that shall he also reap. And I'm reaping some things now. But there was a time that I had to have my priorities different at important
So you
places.
definitely have to
I
tweak
hope
it
that makes sense. Does that make
to like the
Yeah,
moment that you're at, because you were
absolutely.
building a business and you're trying to become
Well,
a successful person, and you can't do that with saying, I shut my phone off at 5. I shoe 4 horses a
right.
day. You would have never been Travis Bennett,
Yes.
the great horseshoer at 4 horses a day.
Well, I'm
The
glad you said the
great.
great, because there's other horsemen out there that don't think that. And we live in a
Yeah.
land full of great ones for sure. But or here in Randall County for sure, a lot of my good friends are so good, and I think they would tell you the same thing, whether it be that or any kind
Anything.
of business.
Right,
Is what
100%.
you're
It's like
getting at.
whatever you're trying to build, like you can't build it between certain hours at a young person. Like young people, they need to realize, when is the best day to plant a tree? 100 years ago, but when's the next time? Today.
Today,
Right now.
right
Yeah.
now, absolutely. And so the bar. I mean, even let's say this: the important things to us when we had one kid versus 4,
Dang. Yeah. Man, we just took Addison
right?
wherever we went. I mean, shoot.
Even at 2,
Yeah.
right? When you go to 3, it's like you got to
Oh,
go to a zone defense where it was man on man
especially
before.
with catch.
And so, oh, yeah, well, you need a higher help for that, right? Have a drone that just follows them around everywhere. But, and so that's where at different places in your life. But and I think it'd be good for you and your spouse to sit down. Hey, what are the important things, so you can
Right.
keep that place
Mm-hmm.
of peace,
Now, peace
right?
is so important, because
Right?
the minute
So
that
important.
the peace is gone in the home, man, everybody feels it. Yeah.
Right. Especially you men. I want to talk to you, because if you lose it, what's ever at the top trickles down to the bottom. Right? That's a spiritual thing, but that's also too. I mean, look at this nation. What's ever at the top trickles down to the bottom. We got a bonehead at the top. We got bonehead things going on right now. And so we've got to be, but when you're walking in peace, the household will walk in peace. And so, and if you're going to walk in peace, you've got to lay out the important
Yeah.
things and stick to those. Let's talk about the next one. The important is long-term effectiveness when the urgent is short-term efficiency. So the important things of life are the goals that you set out before you, that you're always
Right.
keeping your eye on the prize. It's vision.
So for me, like a
So
goal is to be a good mom, and is veering off that track and doing something that's urgent, that's pulling me away. Is it worth it to them? You know, taking them to places that they need to go, being visible, being at the games. We could be pulled in so many different directions because people do pull on us.
absolutely,
But kids remember us being there. Yeah.
absolutely, I do. That's why I always want to be. I mean, I haven't missed hardly any games, wrestling matches, any of those things, because I could
Right.
always look up in a crowd and see my mom and dad. Always, always, always. They made it important, so now I want to make it important. And so
Right. Yeah.
that's long-term effectiveness. Like when our kids are out of the house, I don't want to be that family is like they never
Yeah.
come home. Our goal, our vision is that the Bennetts, they always come. I mean, obviously, if they have a
Right.
biblical life, you leave their father and mother, but we would like
Right.
to be a part of that, right? And so, and they've got to make that decision. We can't make that for them, and so we're setting some important decisions today to make
Yes.
sure that happens.
Eyes on the prize.
Eyes on the prize. And so, going back to like the business, talking about even in the beginning years, I was looking at the shoer that I am today in one spot in a barn. People come to me. I got a big fan. I'm living the high life, but I paid a lot of dues where my important things looked a little different then. But I was looking at where it is
Right.
today. And because of that, long-term effectiveness when the urgent is a
That's just like
short-term
dieting.
efficiency.
You know, you have a goal in mind. I know you hate to talk about dieting. You hate
I do
talk
dieting.
But
Writing is of the devil. Starts
okay,
with
then
a
use the
D.
word watching what you eat. It's like you have a
Okay,
goal to
that's
live a
better.
long, healthy
Feel better
life,
about it.
right? You want to be successful in life. You don't want to be in the doctor's office all the time with health issues. Being urgent is like eating what is in front of you, whatever is available, making that bad choice.
Preach.
It really
It's a
is.
great
But I mean, that's just
example.
how our whole life is. But it's like, okay, I'm going to have what I want now and sacrifice what I want later. And you're never going to have what you want later
Exactly.
on in life if you give up and compromise right then and there. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's such a good point. I mean, we say it all the time around here. We pray and fast. If you don't know what fasting is, do without. It could be a soul fast, it could be food or whatever. But you're taking those things out of your life. And I always say this: when you choose to fast, that's when somebody calls and says, "Hey,
Let's go have steak.
I'm let's go. Yeah, we're bringing lobster. I got a friend who lives in Maine, and he just flew in fresh,
Who are your
lobster,
friends?
and
Because
we're
nobody's
gonna have."
ever offered me lobster.
But you know what I'm saying? Like something
That's how it is when
crazy,
you're
like a
with
rabbit out of the hat.
dieting is like, hey, everybody wants to go to get ice cream. And you're like, what the heck am I going to have an ice cream?
Brahms has been there from the beginning of time. It'll always be there. But then all of a sudden, you make this choice, and that's what it is. It's the urgent.
Guess I'm going to drink my Diet Coke like my president.
But if it's important to you, long-term effectiveness. Oh, man, this is good. All right, here's the next one. The important contribute to a larger goal always, but the urgent completes a lesser task. How many little things do we have out there? Just little things that we could do away with, that our life would be so much more peaceful. Ooh, the knowledge of tree of good and evil. Just speaking about fasting, we just got out of fasting. And I always urge everybody, yours is going off right now. I always urge everybody when we go, whether it be 3-day fast, 10-day fast, at the beginning of the year, we go like a week, sometimes 21 days. We've done that in the past when we were feeling real crazy.
That was in the past.
But that's in the past. But when I always urge people to go on a soul fast, meaning get off social media, Twitter. Our phones were designed to answer and email, but I mean, we have apps on
You
here.
just think about how much time you waste
good for us whatsoever
in life. People say you don't have enough time to go to the gym. I don't have enough time to do this.
And they slip off into the abyss with their thumbs. Just
these things are evil.
Going through.
They really are.
They really are.
I know, it makes it so hard. It's like it's easy to say it's evil, but then you realize when you see that screen time, your weekly screen time, you want to kick yourself and you want to throw up because you're like,
you do.
How did I waste like that? I always look at it and I say, this thing is wrong. It is literally just calculating whenever I'm using my calendar, organizing my event. Yeah, it's counting all that because I'm saying there's like no way. Like the other day, it said your screen time is down 4 hours a day. I was like, what? Yeah, that's what
I noticed this when we went on vacation to Savannah. That's because we were doing stuff and I was thinking we're on vacation.
But still.
But it always blows me away at how many hours.
It lies though, right?
Eye-opening.
Does it lie?
It's mind-boggling. I would like to think it lies, but it probably doesn't. It's a system of some sort. But it should open our eyes to how much. I mean, we go down the path of looking,
and the excuses of I use my phone for work. Yeah, right.
Yeah, 100%. Like, how about this? How many businesses out there would say that they would have a more effective workspace?
There's actually a study on that, babe. Because I looked it up. There is. I can't remember how much it is, but they did a survey about their how much work kids complete or people complete before phones and now after. It was like 50%, if I had to say. I mean,
it has
something
to be
crazy. So basically, and so I
Oh.
remember reading that, and I was thinking, you know, we run a church and we have employees, obviously. And I was thinking 50% of the time. So, like, if we pay somebody to work 7 hours a day, 3 hours they were off doing something else. So, we're paying somebody a 7-hour day, but we're only getting 3 hours of work.
We should get what like sheriffs have when they pull up somewhere and they block all the security cameras, where it like blocks all cell phone service.
What if we did that on
In the
Sunday
building.
mornings?
What if we did it? I'm telling you, there'd be more of effective
Yeah.
moms and dads out there. There's piss poor parents because of this.
I think you
Did I
just
say
did.
piss poor? I did. I just did. But here's the deal. They come to us and they're like, I don't know why. It's because there's kids out there that are wanting the attention of their moms and their dads, but yet they're looking at people.
And is that
on
going to
social
matter?
media that they
I know,
don't.
but
Some
is that
of them
gonna
they don't
matter
even
5
like.
years from now that you read Karen's post? I don't know.
Karen,
I just can't.
why'd it have to be Karen? You know I did. Because you follow.
I do, yeah, I'm
a
sure I
Karen
do,
page,
but
I'm sure.
Yeah, that's one of those
All right.
things is that you look back and was that really important to have that time on? I mean, was it urgent to look at that video or to read Facebook when you're a kid? Do you realize how fast our kids grow up? Gosh, it's like so
Oh my
crazy to me
gosh.
to look back on Time Hop, like even 3 years, like how much Anson, Addison, and Ketch have grown up. And even Noel, like, man, he looked like a little
Yep.
boy on his. He's a man now.
know,
And so
he's
it's
a
crazy
man
to
now.
me to like see that and you go, where did that time go? It seems like just the other day we were watching him play high school football and now it's gone. And that moment,
Dick Bivens.
we're never going to have that again. Never again will we get to see him
Yep,
play high school football.
That's
And
right.
if we weren't present and we didn't make that a priority to be there, we would have missed out.
That's right. That's why President Eisenhower said, I've learned that the urgent things in life are seldom important, and the important things in life are seldom urgent.
So good.
So true. So it goes back to this. You've got to distinguish the important
Make a
things
list.
and the urgent things.
Make a list. I love lists.
Make a list.
Make a list.
You like lists. Oh, Lord. I'm not a list
Actually, you
person.
are.
But
You like my notepads that say
kinda
Brandi
am,
Bennett.
I
That's
do. I need
girly.
Travis Bent ones
Yeah.
on there. I'm sick of using yours. All right.
Somebody order
But
him. So
let's
notepads.
make that's so to answer the question, it may have taken us an hour to do it, but to answer your question today, that is how we make time for the important things, and we distinguish whether or not we'll deal with the urgent.
I hope we help somebody out.
Right? I hope so too. Let us know. Subscribe,
Share, like.
share, comment, all those things, and you guys let us know on some content
Yeah,
that you would like
we
to
want to
hear
hear
about.
from you.
All right. Blessings.